One. All right, welcome back. This is Marshall Ramsey's Mississippi Zoom tour. And this morning I opened up my Facebook, like many of you, and I saw a post from somebody that I know and really respect here in the Jackson metro area. It's from Jeff Good. He's co-owner and operates 3 award-winning upscale restaurants in Jackson. Of course, Bravo, when I know this by heart, I don't know why I'm reading it. Bravo Italian Restaurant and Bar. You got Bravo, you got Sal and Mookie's, and then you got the ever wonderful Broad Street. And I love all 3 of them.
You got yourself into a little bit of a pickle there, didn't you, for a moment?
No, it's COVID brain. It really is. I don't mean that I have it. It's just that right now it seems like with everything, it's like, oh, suddenly I have to think, oh, this is terrible. But I've been a fan of you and the restaurant for so many years, and still am. And you and I have talked repeatedly over the last few months about what's going on and everything else. And what I said this morning, I opened up and I saw your article that was on CNN.com, and it was fantastic, talking about, because on this Zoom series, I've talked with Dr. Dobbs, I've talked with Dr. Woodward, I've talked with Dr. Bryan. We've talked about the medical side of this, but really the other tragedy that's come along with the death and destruction the virus has caused to the human toll, it's also caused the economic toll too. And you've been on the front lines of that. And so when I saw your article this morning, it was definitely saying that we need a bridge to get businesses like yours from right now where we are. I mean, in a true Dickens sense, where the best of times, the worst of times, because we have this great vaccine that's on the horizon, but the horizon's a long way away. And you got to figure out how you can get from A to B. So Jeff, thank you for taking the time to talk to us today a little bit about what you wrote.
It's my pleasure. Thank you, Marshall. It means a great deal. You're just such a positive and important person in our community, and thanks for letting me have a forum to share. So I guess I should maybe share a little bit. I love what you said about the best of times, worst of times. I'm also going to say that my premise about kind of what's happening with businesses like mine, restaurants, we are place-based local businesses. We are your neighborhood business. We are in your community, and we buy our stuff, not online. We're buying from people that are around us. We are hiring folks from community. So we are that economic engine that really, everybody always talks about small business being the economic engine of the United States. Well, I think that the Tale of Two Cities is also, the best of times, worst of times. It's the same novel, The Tale of Two Cities. If you look at the stock market, we're at record territory because of the huge consolidation of national and global interests that have technology-based businesses, distribution services, et cetera. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's fantastic that there continues to be great innovation. The technology we're using right now, if you would have asked me to do this in February, I would have said, wasn't Zoom the program that was on, Boston Public TV back in the day with, and I think Elena Morissette was on it. So if everyone is using that as the gauge for health, you're missing the whole Main Street story. And the whole Main Street story is that we have been struggling through this. And now here we are at Christmas season, and it is time for people to be buying gifts. And how many of us are choosing to shop online because of safety, ease, selection, deals? It's not Black Friday anymore, it's Black Month. You get as many deals as you want for the entire month. So, it's been a challenge, but what's really happened is with the last couple of weeks is that we're seeing another cycle here that is reminiscent of what happened in March. And it's a tightening of people's behavior and a tightening of public guidance about what you should be doing and the freedom of movement and whether or not it's a good idea to go out. Well, being a place-based business, this smacks right in our crosshairs. We're in the crosshairs. So I belong to the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, and I'm on the Small Business Council. And a couple of weeks ago, I was asked to write an article because we're having our weekly Zoom meeting, and we're talking about things. And my story was quite impactful internally, and they asked if I would put it to writing, and they wanted to submit it for publication to CNN. And so that happened this morning. That my short piece was shared, and it's been an honor. It's been quite a day. Now I know what it feels like to be Marshall Ramsey. When the phone starts ringing in the morning and people say, wow, I just read your article, and you went, oh, it happened today. But my story is very authentic. So Marshall, all I did is I tried to share the reality of what happened that second week of March, as we started to see catering business absolutely cancellation. No more events, no more parties, no more corporate events, no box lunch meals, nothing. Then we saw the dining room shrink down, and then the shelter in place order. And I had to write a letter. A small business has no money to keep people hired that are in serving the people that we make money. It's a dollar in, dollar out business, especially in our business. So I had to do the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. I had to write that letter that let 184 people go. So that is the premise of the piece. And then I just kind of talk through the struggles, but also the success of pivoting and getting up to 70% of revenue. We're 70%. Yeah. We were making it in October. And that's not enough that's not enough to pay the bills, but it was enough because of the PPP, because of the Paycheck Protection Program, the government stimulus. That amount of money covered our cost of labor, 30% revenue. It was okay that we could make less and our bills were still up there because we had a corpus of money. Well, that money is all spent out. It's been spent out since August, but it gave us the training wheels to go forward. So we have been prepared, and with personal savings and a diet of operations, we've been looking to April, May. I had this conversation with our manager meetings last month. I said, our goal is April, May. You have nothing to worry about. We're going to be cash flow as we continue along this line. Well, that line has now changed. The sales have dropped precipitously. This week is just like that week in March. Every Christmas party of the few compared to last year that we did have, whether being in the dining room at Bravo or at somebody's home or at a corporate boardroom where we're just doing a 5 o'clock cocktail hour for somebody with appetizers, canceled, done. And all of my brothers and sisters in the industry, we've all talked, it's all the same. So the question is, how do we go forward?
Right. Well, I think it's a lot of people, Thanksgiving, they traveled. A lot of people got the disease. You and I were talking a little bit before we came online, talking about how we're now knowing more and more people that are actually going to the hospital from COVID. But with Thanksgiving, with this spike in the numbers, you talk about everybody canceling. I think that's what's driving it right now. It's just suddenly a lot of people are getting sick. And it's tough because, like you said, that's a big chunk of your business, just like people eating in the restaurant. You have profit centers like drinks and and your staff with tips and things like that. And well, if everybody's getting takeout, that's another profit. You talked about pivoting. Well, you did a really good job of that when, you suddenly had to, clean out your freezers. So you managed to do a way to, have people come and they can buy things, and you donated it. You did a lot of good things for the community initially. And then you started making bread and selling that to get an income stream there. Yeah. Tell us a little bit about that, and tell us a little bit how you coped personally through it, because as a business owner, I think a lot of people see those doors closed and they don't think about the lives that are being affected behind that closed sign on the door.
Yeah, if you're the boss and you feed everybody else in terms literally like paycheck and place of work and ethos, but also culture and care. If you are the person who feeds, it's like being a priest. Who feeds the priest? Who helps the leader? So I got really dark. The couple of days, the shutdown happened. I think it was the 18th is when we let everybody go, and the 19th, 20th was a weekend. And I didn't know if this was, invasion of the body snatchers. We're all going to, turn into powder on the street. I mean, nobody knew what the reality of the virus was. So there's a real amount of personal stress. My daughter had lost her job. Her company closed down and she had to move home from Memphis. My other daughter's teaching elementary school for Johnson Elementary here in Jackson, and her school had to go to virtual learning, and that whole disruption. Everything was just, everybody's got the same story. We all have been touched equally. The problem for me is I had loans and leases.
Right.
I literally did not know if we were going to reopen. I didn't understand what was happening. We were looking down the barrel of a gun saying this could be it. And the bottom line is the bankers have our names on every single piece of paper. Yeah. So what the gift was the call from David Roberts from Corner Market, the owner of Corner Market, and David called and said, we can't get toilet paper, sanitizer, and bread. You have a bakery. Would you consider making bread? And I said, well, yes. And my thought was, this is a way for me to get a couple guys back. So we got 2 of our bakers. I called them up and I said, would you guys be willing to meet me at the bakery? And we're going to start baking for one of the grocery stores. And they said, absolutely. And we met at the back door. I handed them some masks. And I said, I understand that masks are really important. I don't know what this is all about. Let's make sure we wash our hands. We do this and the other. We're going to take our temperature, but wear a mask all the time. So we started right at the beginning with that idea. And we started baking some bread. And then we baked bread, and bread has to be cut and sliced in bags. So we needed a few more people. So I called the front house manager and I said, let's get back to work. Let's do this together. So we started slowly hiring some people back, and we had a trickle of revenue. And then we were able to do curbside. We didn't create that. We watched. We saw other restaurants doing this, and it's like, this is really good. John in Columbus, Harvey's and Sweet Pepper Deli and those guys, Bill Latham and his group, David Kahn and his group, Char and Amerigo. We saw them doing this. We said, this is a good idea. So we started curbside delivery, which meant you didn't have to have anybody in the restaurant. You just had the kitchen staff and a couple people to run food out. And then neighborhood delivery. And the idea was restaurants were taking food in mass to a neighborhood for distribution. And we decided to do it a little different. We did casseroles. We did $40 meals. So a casserole, a salad, bread, dessert, $40. Take a choice of 8 different styles. It'll be brought to you cold. So you can all you have to do is heat it up and eat it when you want to, which is the perfect COVID thing, because that way, if the drop off is 4:30 at your neighborhood, you don't have to worry about hurry up and getting home while the fish is still hot. So we pieced together a business plan that was able to start ratcheting up the hiring. The PPP, thank you, Eleni Sanford from Trustmark National Bank. Oh my God, saved our business, walked us through the process. And then Linda K. Russell, who's my controller, who is just unbelievable in her skill sets in making this happen. So Dan and I were able to focus on the business. And then we were able to open the dining rooms in April when the shelter in place stopped. And then it became a lot of care and love, a lot of concern about safety, my staff, besides customers. So, and then training, because people are sloppy, it's the famous, this is how I wear my mask,
Yeah, exactly. It's like, this thing's part of it.
Oh my gosh. So it's been a journey. And so now to kind of put it in your original question, how do I feel about this? I've been part of the recovery community for a long time. I stopped drinking about 23 years ago. I wasn't a very good AAer because I didn't go to meetings and things like that. God had put me in the right place. I started going back to meetings last year before this started. I also started seeing a therapist because I have a lot of energy. I needed to talk to people about why I'm wired the way I am, and and the frustrations I have about what I want to do and why I can't do it, and relationships that I have, because I'm not too easy to live with. Ask Mrs. Good. I was really in the place when this hit that I had a tool set and a support group that I was able to turn to and just have a way to work through this. And so, to use recovery speak, it's just one day at a time. I have got to be focused on April and May to be successful, to be open in doing this. I've got to be a monster about our profit and loss. I've got to know everything that's going on. I've got to be awake, but I also have to just say, today's all I got. I'm going to go to bed tonight. I'm going to get up tomorrow. Tomorrow's tomorrow. Today is what I got. That's it. So that my only advice is we all go through this, and as your viewers watch this conversation, my advice from my side is this too will pass. The goal is for us to stay safe, so we're all part of this together, and to be considerate to those. The thing that disturbs me a little bit is still in some group settings when if you go into a group and you choose to wear your mask and others are not,
you feel the shame. You're just like, wait a minute.
I'm doing this for you. Trust me, I'm doing it for you because I'm around a lot more people than you are. I'm trying to do this for you. That's all.
I talked to you a lot during that time, and we talked about it, and I'm wired very similar to you. But I like to have control over a situation. And this is a year, if you'd like to have control, this is not a good year for you. And I did what I normally do. I threw myself into it with 100% energy, cranked out as much work as I could work. And then about August and September, I started breaking down. And I don't mean mentally, although mentally it was tough. I started breaking down because I had been sitting for 15 hours at a time doing that, and my back's messed up, my knees messed up, and everything else. It's like, and I don't know about you, it's like 2020 on the adapting side is we've all had to kind of relearn how we're doing things. And to your credit, you and the team have managed to be able to do that. But you mentioned something really important though. It's only 70% of what you need, the revenue coming in. And as we've seen, the numbers are getting way worse quickly. And we're looking at the vaccine not really getting to where you and I are going to be able to get a vaccine till probably this summer, if we're lucky.
Now, I might be able to get in line before you if I'm an essential service. So, you know,
That's true.
And so that there is that stratification, but that doesn't mean it's any better for the overall situation. It's just, it's interesting how that distribution is going to happen.
Right.
But yeah, the bottom line is, and the article that was written today, is a call for Congress and the executive branch to sign the next stimulus bill. I didn't make any other plea than one. I simply made the plea that the PPP program is in place. It's done by banks. It can be done very quickly, but it needs to be done this time. It needs to be means-based. Not everyone needs stimulus. There are plenty of industries that are making the most money they've ever made. We need to be as fiscally conservative as we can be.
Right.
We can't print this money forever, but if we don't print this money right now, the whole economic argument is if you don't do this, it's worse off later on, goes into personal debt when everybody falls, you know, when the entire thing falls apart. So the key is you wanted, and I think that's been the fight between the Senate leadership and the House leadership is over the size of that 500 million versus 3 trillion. Well, there's a lot of room in between there. This 1 trillion seems to be a sweet spot in many ways.
Yeah.
The point is, if you have less and you need to do municipalities, you need to do people for unemployment, and there's many needs for the business community, make the PPP the program and make it means-based. I need to prove to you, right, here's my P&L, I need this. If I have a P&L over here that's like this, I don't need it. Let it go to the next guy. And then there's Robert St. John, my friend in New Orleans, in Hattiesburg, has been working on the Restaurant Act, and Senator Wicker is one of the champions. This is a targeted relief act that's for the restaurant industry, which is another track, which really deals with, I think, structurally the issues that our industry is going to be dealing with for the next couple of years. But the quick and easy right now that we need to focus on, I think, is that PPP, and that was what the article was about.
Well, it makes a lot of sense. You know, it's better for you to be able to stay in business than be able to pay your employees for the next 6 months than it is for the federal government to have to pay unemployment for those employees for the next 3 years.
Bingo. And what I do with them, if we have closed dining rooms, if that happens again, I do not think we're going to go to a shelter-in-place shutdown of business. I think that our state would do everything possible to remain open safely. So let's say if dining rooms do at some point in time, they say, well, you know what, we need to go ahead and have a 2-week break, like that 15-day break that we originally had. We could continue to do and the like, and that's going to be important. And the stimulus would allow me, if I have 50 people on payroll right now, but I only need 10 to do that, the stimulus is what allows us to pay someone. And we could then figure out, you know, what an equitable schedule would be. Maybe everybody's getting paid 30 hours a week for working 15 hours. And that's the way it works. But the point is, we're keeping everybody engaged. And then I've got that tool set. My whole product is people. We make food. Guess who makes food? Not robots. People make food. Guess who has every bit of our secret focaccia recipe, chocolate tiramisu, and the delicious croissant at Broad Street? It's not me, it's my folks. And if we lose those people, we lose our entire ability to do our business. And there is no way to retrain a new group of folks to come in because you've lost all of the institutional knowledge, culture. You know, the folks that are still with us, the folks that have been with me for 20 and 23 years, they've already self-selected. They want on this team. Yeah. They're not free agents. They don't want to be traded off. They want on this team. So my plea is that that hopefully that Congress and the administration will find a way My other plea for those watching, we said it before, we asked for this in the spring during the first slowdown. Please consider buying something local. Please take a moment and think about who you can buy something from local. And if nothing more, a gift card from the hardware store, as opposed to the Home Depot, but the local hardware store, a gift card from a restaurant, a gift card from a hair salon, if nothing more, just give a gift card and don't feel that it's an impersonal gift. It's a hashtag 2020 gift.
Right.
And that money will mean everything to us to be able to keep going.
A lot of people have blamed the shutdowns for the economic problems, which that's right. I mean, yes, on the surface, but it's at the end of the day, it's the virus and the psychology that it's changes that it's causing that's causing the problems. Like, for instance, I mean, I like to eat out. We eat out a lot at our house, and we usually get takeout now because we don't feel comfortable eating in a restaurant. Okay. Now, a lot of people do, and that's great. And that's their choice. But like I said, we've got to get, by this summer, if we get enough of the vaccine and we feel confident again, it changes that psychology. And then people are going to go back into the restaurants again. Hell, I can't wait. I can't wait to sit down in one of your restaurants and sit down and have a nice meal at Bravo and have one of my, get a pizza or get a salad. I mean, I can't wait to do that. But until then,
Phyllis take care of you. You're gonna love it.
Oh, I know. I just give you a free ad here. It's like, eat at Jeff's. But no, you know what I mean. It's not just the shutdown that's causing it. It's the psychology behind it. And we've got to get until people feel comfortable again. And you have got to have that life preserver until people feel that way again. And it's not going to change. I mean, the governor or the president or whoever, the mayors or whoever, can throw everything wide open. But if people don't feel comfortable going and sitting in your establishment, that's where the problem lies. So, like I said, we've all had to make a lot of changes. I mean, I'm in the speaking business like you are. We do a lot of speaking. I haven't spoken but twice since March. And then I kind of felt weird doing it. And so I miss that. And Scott Albert Johnson, a good friend, I'm gonna have him on the radio show on Monday. Well, he's not outperforming, and that's his big revenue source now. So I mean, it's like all these businesses, there, like you said, there's some businesses that are doing really well right now because they might be technology based or whatever, but the people part of it's what's hurting. And you're part of that, and that's why I wanted to get you on today and tell a little bit about that story, because people need to understand what's going on behind the scenes.
Well, I appreciate the chance to tell the story, and I tell it for all my brothers and sisters in the business. So thank you for a chance to point out my particular businesses, but this is about all of us. And I would be just as happy if you bought a gift card from the local barbecue place, or the great rib place in the gas station, or the high-end steak restaurant in the suburbs, wherever you choose to go. Think about us, and we're gonna keep on plodding. And I will say this: I'm really impressed with my brothers and sisters and how they've done safety, how they've done security, and how they've kept their head up. It'd be really easy to poor pitiful me right now, but think about your local businesses, please.
Amy and I have been in a couple restaurants and have eaten, and we were very impressed at how everybody did everything by the book, and it was it was like, okay, we actually feel pretty comfortable in this situation. And seriously, hats off to you, because you've always given back so much to this community, and it was kind of neat seeing the community respond when you were struggling, and I hope they have continued to do that. Let me ask you this one final question. I don't want to keep you too long, because I know you're a busy guy, especially with the media calling you every 35 seconds now for interviews.
Yeah, right. Well,
it's kind of funny, you talk about technology, and we'll tell you this before I ask you this last question. A couple of years ago, the Bush cartoons hit, and so I was on like Fox and CNN and NBC and all this stuff. So they would like send me a car and take me down to the satellite studio, and it was so old school. And now you're going to be on next week on CNN, and they're just like, yeah, here's our WebEx. I mean, it's amazing how. Yeah, you don't even get a car.
No green M&Ms in the waiting room. Geez,
But I tell you what, I'll come pick you up if you want me to, and I'll take you around the block and drop you off.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, I'll even wear the hat.
The windows. I love
Jeff,
it. Once
okay.
around the block, please, Marshall. Once around the block.
I know, it's so cool. The guy picked me up at 4:30 in the morning, and he had the hat and everything. It was like the end of Pretty Woman without the prostitution. It was just great. And so the guy picks me up. It's 4:30 in the morning. He gets me in the car. He offers me snacks. And he said, "Is there anything I can do for you, Mr. Ramsey?" I said, "Yeah, lay on the horn. I want all my neighbors to see this. This is the coolest thing ever." It's on that. But I will definitely tune in to CNN to watch your TV appearance. And I know you'll do much better than what I've done today.
Yeah,
That's for
well,
sure.
yeah, you're kind, but I've a short period of time with Jim Shudo and Poppy Harlow at 8:40 our time, Central Time, on Monday, and we'll see where we stand at that point. It'll be great.
And I put a link to in my social media, and it's, of course, it's on your social media as well. I'll tweet that back out at Marshall Ramsey. You can find it on Twitter, and I'll put a link to that article so people can read it too. Okay, so we're right now in Mississippi. We're about 2,400 cases. And like I said, the Thanksgiving surge is hitting. It hasn't hit totally yet, but Dr. Dobbs is very concerned. He's saying don't get outside of your immediate family, which I think probably has driven a lot of the cancellations on your catering, which, I mean, that sucks. Just to put it in no other way. I mean, I understand it. I understand the science behind it. I understand why we need to do it. It hurts for you, and it hurts. Yeah, it's like the Grinch trying to steal the tree, out of the house for Christmas.
We need Cindy Lou Who to come down and say, "But why is that happening?"
Yeah, really, and to say, "Oh, and here's the vaccine," and totally, so we could not have to worry about our friends that are in the hospital.
And his heart grew 10 times because of the vaccine. That's it.
Exactly. Oh, very good. Side effect. Oops. What's your plan between now and the summer if Congress doesn't get off the dime and get something done?
We first of all, I do believe that we're a learning community. I do think the United States, and there's been, with the election and everything else, we don't have to explain how we got here. We understand how we got here. I think the reality of what's going to happen with the surge after Thanksgiving, I think we're all going to probably do a much better job of mask wearing and consideration. Just, when we let our guard down, and it doesn't mean we can't see each other, in a safe way. If there's a huge surge, I get Dr. Dobbs's point fully, but backing up a few weeks, the call was just, don't hang out with your next door neighbors unless you're wearing a mask. If we just do some things like that, I think that come, February, March, I'm hoping that it'll be much better. I got to be able to make it through to there. Hoping there's stimulus, managing cash. We'll probably do another gift card sale. I'm thinking that I might launch that immediately. I've had a lot of folks reach out and say that they missed the chance for our big buy 3 get 1 free gift card sale. So quite frankly, I think by Monday we'll probably have that relaunched as a method to generate some revenue. I think I need to be really smart about getting some cash in. So I think we'll do what we need to do.
Jeff, thank you so much, and thank you for all you do for the community too. I mean, I haven't even touched on, you've been very, very giving for the whole 20-something years I've known you, giving back to Jackson and to Mississippi. And I hope during this time that anybody who watches this will, come to one of your restaurants, buy a gift card, be able to get takeout, enjoy your great food to help you along, because you really have given us so much.
Well,
and you can send the check straight to me.
I get the benefit of being the tip of the spear.
What's
You've
that?
got a deal. I'll send the fettuccine straight to you. How's that sound?
Sorry, I was thinking, I don't want people thinking that was a little too much, but I mean it. So seriously, Jeff, if I can be of any help or anything, let me know. Thank you so much for talking to us, and good luck on Monday. Don't cuss.
Thank you. Appreciate that very much. Well, prayers to everybody, and the other thing that we all need to do when you ask what to do, we're going to just say some very genuine prayers for healing and for wholeness. That's the best.
Amen. Amen. Thank you, Jeff. I appreciate it.
All right. Take care. Thank you.